Are you worried? I know you are. Are you worried about your finances, your health, global warming? Well, you're not alone. We all worry. But anxiety can create havoc in our lives unnecessarily. And our next guest has some advice. He's the author of Managing the Worry Cycle, How to Improve Your Life by Worrying Less. Welcome, Ocean Palmer. Good to have you with us.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'll tell you, I already feel better. I'm comforted by the name Ocean, which is a great name.
Well, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. What are the things that we tend to worry most about?
People worry about three kinds of things. Things you can control, things you can influence, and things that you cannot control.
For example?
Well, the economy, for example, right
yeah.
now. And the reason this is so vital for people to learn and understand is that the mind processes things you cannot control radically differently than it does things you can. And when we worry about things we cannot control, which unfortunately is 40% of what the noise is in most people's head, the mind takes it to its worst possible extreme, which almost never happens. And this is why it's so important for people to manage their minds and select the correct things to worry about. When you worry about things you can control, it can inspire positive action. You take action, you get things done. So it can inspire positive change. But when you go the other way and you worry about too many things that are beyond your control, your mind will really take a toll on you.
And how does that affect you personally or your families?
Oh, geez, it can be dramatic. If you live in a hypothetical world of what if, what if? Well, I lose my job. Well, the economy's bad. Nobody's hiring. Well, I'll lose my house. I'll lose my car. I'll lose my insurance. Then I'll get sick. Then my savings is wiped out. My family will split up. I mean, the stress is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it's unnecessary. That's the big thing.
And it can destroy your health.
Absolutely.
It can really,
yeah, sure. You get into destructive behaviors. What you think drives how you feel. It's how you feel that drives what you do. So when you're centered, when you feel centered, you're strong of mind and heart. When you feel good about that, you're going to make better physical action decisions.
Right.
And when you get out of skew, then you're really exposed to negative things.
All right, well, now, there are legitimate things in the world to be concerned about. So let's say we're never going to have a worry-free life, but you have a 3-day rule for dealing with worry. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I'd learned that from a friend of mine named Lonnie Owens in the horse business. Lonnie has a 3-day rule, and it's because some of the decisions people have to make now are tough ones.
Yeah.
Right? They're not going to be comfortable, but you got to make them. And so Lonnie always said, you know what, in the horse business, when you do a deal, and if it doesn't sit well with you, you're quite allowed to worry for it for 3 days. But after that, boom.
Gotta let it go.
Not allowed to worry about it anymore. Yeah. And I found that to be great advice.
Right.
And I love passing that on.
Well, now, it sounds good. So help us get to the point where we can manage our worries.
Okay.
What are some of the steps to take?
Well, first thing is I want everybody to own what's in their own minds. I want their heads to become a castle with a drawbridge. And the drawbridge will allow certain things into your mind to process, like things you can control, but it'll also let you lower it and sweep that stuff out of your head that doesn't belong. Too many of our minds have become more like an open bar, where everybody has portals of access into it. You got to process it, and it becomes a total mess and chaos. They never help to clean it up, and they don't pay you to be there, right?
Right.
So I want that ownership. The other thing that I really hope people do is they really respect the fact that what you choose to worry about is up to you. You can pick the right things, and do not allow the toxicity of things we cannot control into the mind because of the great toll it takes. Every one of us has a personal brand that marks who he or she is as an individual. We're good to people. We're not mean to kids. Don't rob banks, all that stuff. And so I want you to take this issue and put it on that list. So it's part of your brand. You don't worry about things beyond your control.
How important is it for us to remind ourselves of how our worry affects the ones we love around us?
I think
Spouses,
it's huge.
Children.
Especially with children, Spencer, because kids who are from 0 to 13 is when the values of a child are formed to the extent that projects how they're going to be as an adult. So in other words, worriers can beget the next generation of worriers, or people who really coach their children, develop their children on what to worry about and how to manage it well. That's the frame with which the child will be raised, and it will have a lot more positive impact on them.
How do we recognize self-caused worry? You sort of touched on that earlier.
Yeah.
Just an example of something that's a self-caused worry.
People internalize the wrong thing right now. Maybe, we used to worry about careers. Now we worry about jobs. Well, somebody might eat too much. There's stress. So instead of getting out and getting exercise like they might used to do to burn some of that off, it can become a self-destructive behavior where either bad habits start creeping in, but these are physical choices that can be managed. But some of the things we bring on ourselves. Yeah, but we're empowered to fix those if they're important to you.
This is great advice. It's all in Ocean Palmer's book. You can find it on our website. I wish we had more time, but don't worry about it. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.